God bless you, loved ones. Welcome to the Word with Chester. Today we'll continue study in the 41st chapter of the book of Genesis. In our last study, we read down to verse 16. Today we will reread probably 15, 16, and continue on with this chapter. Before we start our study today, let me make the announcement again. I'll be singing at the Grand Hyatt Hotel, that's 600 East Market Street, San Antonio, Texas. The Texas Gospel Announcers Guild we're having our 24th anniversary celebration. I encourage you, if you're in the San Antonio area, to please come, and all of the entertainment will be good. I will be singing. There will be other great singers there singing that night, and I encourage you it will be well worth your time to come and sit in the service. If you do come, please come and shake my hand. I would love to meet you personally and just greet you in the name of the Lord. Well, in our last study, we read down to verse 16. Let's read 15 and 16 and then continue with today's study. The Bible reads in verse 15, "And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard saying of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace." Now let's get the picture here now. Joseph was in the dungeon. He was in prison, and two of Pharaoh's servants was arrested and put into prison, the baker and the butler. And while there, they dreamed a dream. And Joseph was able to interpret their dreams, and it came to pass exactly like they had said. The butler was restored his position, and the baker was killed. And while serving his post, serving Pharaoh, after coming up out of the dungeon, there was a 2-year period there. He had forgotten about it, but then when Pharaoh had his dream, he told Pharaoh that while I was in prison, this man interpreted a dream that I had, and it happened just exactly like he said. And so Pharaoh sent for Joseph and brought him out of prison. And Joseph, having conversation with the king, said, "It's not me that's going to interpret your dream, but that is of God." Joseph always gave glory to God. And here we come into our lesson today in verse 17. "And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, In my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river, and behold, there came up out of the river 7 cows, fat-fleshed and well-favored, and they fed in a meadow." In verse 19, "And behold, 7 other cows came up after them, poor and very ill-favored, and lean-fleshed, such as I have never in all the land of Egypt for badness." I've never seen this in all the land of Egypt for badness. In verse 20, "And the lean and the ill-favored cows did eat up the first 7 fat cows." Shall we continue reading? "And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but there were still ill-favored as at the beginning. So I awoke." Now, he had 2 consecutive dreams. One night he dreamed about cows. The next night he dreamed about corn. Now let's read on in verse 22. "And I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full of good. And behold, 7 ears, which 7 ears withered, thin, and blighted, with the east wind sprung up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. And I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it unto me." Well, he's letting them know, I gave and I told my dream to my magicians here in Egypt. None of them could interpret the dream. Shall we read on in verse 25? And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one, letting him know that you had two dreams, but they were of the same meaning. And those of you that know anything about dreams and the things of God, many times when you have a dream one night and then have one in its likeness another night, most of the time it's something to that dream. And you need to seek out God and seek an interpretation of that dream. Again, 25. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. What is he saying? Joseph telling Pharaoh, this is one dream that you had. God is telling you what's about to happen, what he's about to do. Verse 26, 7 good cows are 7 years. Now here Joseph is giving the interpretation of the dream now. And 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years, and the dream is one. Okay, 7 years, we're talking about a 14-year span here. Let's read 27. And the 7 thin and ill-favored cows that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty ears, blighted with one east wind, shall be 7 years of the famine. Here again, I added it up for you. The dream is one. He dreamed once about the cows. He dreamed again about the ears of corn. All right, there's going to be 7 good years and 7 bad years, a total of 14 years that this is going to transpire in. Let's get this dream. Shall we read on? Then, after Joseph interprets the dream that this is 7 years, then he's going to give something or a suggestion for Pharaoh to do. In verse 28 it reads, this is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh, what God is about to do, he showeth unto Pharaoh. All right, he showed what he's about to do unto Pharaoh. 29 reads, behold, there came 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. Verse 30, and there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. Can you understand? Joseph is interpreting the dream, letting him know what would transpire. There's going to be 7 years of plenty, much food grown, much more than enough will be grown in 7 years. But the 7 following years shall devour the first years. In other words, you're going to have 7 years of famine that's going to be worse and going to eat up all the prosperity of the first 7 years. Shall we read on in verse 31? And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason that the famine following, and it shall be very grievous, letting them know how severe this famine would be. Let's read verse 32. And for that, the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. In other words, God is really trying to get your attention. He give you the dream twice, 2 times. He wants to get your attention. This is about to happen to Egypt. And for that dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by God, and God shall shortly bring it to pass. Letting them know that God is going to bring this to pass. He didn't give you that dream for nothing. It is going to come to pass. Verse 33, now therefore let Pharaoh seek out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of the land of Egypt in the 7th plenteous years. What are we saying here? He's letting the king know in that 7 good years, you take a 5th part of what is grown. Everything that is grown, you take the 5th part of it and then set it aside and lay it aside. You're going to need it in so many words in the following years. Verse 35, and let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up grain under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. You got to understand, Joseph interpreted the dream and then giving Pharaoh wise counsel of what he should do. You got to understand, he told Pharaoh to take one man and set him up over everything, a wise man. He didn't know he was talking about himself, but you're going to find out that this is going to actually happen. It's easy for me to want to jump the gun and tell you the whole story like right now, but it's time for this lesson to come to an end. We will take up on this tomorrow. You're going to find out that Joseph himself is the one that God wanted to lift up. Joseph is the one that God set in position for the one to be lifted up to spare Egypt and all those around Egypt. I want you to know I love you, my friend. I love you with the love of the Lord. If you would like to contact me for any reason, you can write me at the Word with Chester Ministries, Post Office Box 200483, San Antonio, Texas 78220. You can also reach me at my website, www.poemsbychester.com. I also want to let you know that we have our CD that's for sale. If you buy this CD, you will be blessed because the music on there is very good. This is music that I wrote myself and composed myself. And when you buy the music, you'll be blessed. You will also be a blessing to this ministry. Also, our book is for sale. You can buy them at Amazon.com, TuneCore, iTunes, all the places on the World Wide Web. Go to Amazon. Please excuse me. Go to Amazon, go to iTunes, go to TuneCore, punch in my name, Chester L. Figure Sr., and my work will come up for you to purchase. You will be a blessing to this ministry. Remember, I love you, my friends. I love you with the love of the Lord. God bless you.